Imagine a world without cranes, computers, or modern construction equipment. Now imagine building entire cities that last thousands of years, with innovations that still shape how we live today. That's the world of the Roman Empire. From massive aqueducts that brought fresh water to sprawling cities, to roads that stretched across continents. These engineering feats weren't just impressive, they were revolutionary. The Romans didn't just build infrastructure, they built a foundation for modern civilization. Their architectural techniques, like the use of concrete, arches, and domes, were so advanced that their structures remain standing today, defying time and nature. These innovations weren't simply about aesthetic, they were practical solutions to the challenges of a growing empire. Every stone they placed, every design they executed, carried a purpose beyond its immediate function. It was a testament to their ingenuity and vision. This wasn't just about building an empire, it was about creating a legacy of innovation that would endure for a millennia. The first true superhighways. Roman roads stand as a striking symbol of the power and greatness of the Roman Empire. Dating back to the 5th century BC, regulations were in place that addressed both the width and the construction of road surfaces. These standards were considered so essential to Rome's very existence as a whole that they were included in Rome's most important laws of the 12 Tables. From the rainy highlands of Britain to the sun-soaked sands of Egypt, from the windy Atlantic coast of Iberia to the chilly banks of Danube, the legacy of Rome was etched into the earth itself. These roads weren't just dirt paths. Roman engineers meticulously layered sand, stone, and gravel, often up to 4 feet deep, to create roads durable enough to withstand centuries. Using a tool called the grommer, engineers could measure perfectly straight lines over vast distances. They even designed cambered roads with a slight curve so water would drain off, preventing erosion. Roman roads served an array of strategic purposes that were critical to the formation and longevity of the empire. Primarily, they were constructed for military needs. The Romans recognized that in order to defend their sprawling empire, quick and efficient troop movement was imperative. The roads served as rapid transit arteries that facilitated the speedy dispatch of legions to quell rebellion or respond to invasion. In addition to their military function, Roman roads were instrumental for communication and commerce. The ancient version of our modern post, known as cursus publicus, relied on this extensive network for the dissemination of messages and official documents. These roads also stimulated trade by connecting remote territories to Rome and each other, allowing goods to be transported far and wide. This vast network allowed Rome to maintain control over its expansive empire, earning the saying, "All roads lead to Rome." A dome ahead of its time. The Pantheon in Rome is often cited as one of the world's most impressive architectural achievements. Its massive dome, measuring 142 feet across, was the largest in the world for over 1,300 years, and it remains the largest unsupported dome to this day. Originally, the Pantheon was built by Agrippa between 27 and 25 BC, and he dedicated it to the worship of all the Olympians. The word Pantheon is a Greek adjective meaning honor all gods. In fact, the Pantheon was first built as a temple to all gods. To achieve this feat, Roman engineers developed a groundbreaking technique. They used progressively lighter materials, such as pumice stone, as they built the dome upwards, reducing the weight and allowing the structure to stand unsupported. The oculus, a large hole in the top of the dome, not only serves as a light source, but also relieves pressure from the structure. The Pantheon's coffered ceiling, with the recessed panels, was another way to reduce weight without compromising strength. A Roman legend has it that rain does not enter the Pantheon due to a so-called chimney effect. In reality, it's a false belief tied to the past. The many candles lit in the church to provide light produced a steam of hot air rising upwards, which, when meeting the rain, suppressed the perception of water coming in. When the artist Michelangelo saw the Pantheon, centuries after its construction, he reportedly said it was designed of angels, not of man. A massive stadium for chariot racing. The Circus Maximus, Latin for greatest circus, was designed for the most thrilling and dangerous chariot races. With its elongated oval shape perfect for high-speed pursuits, It measured around 2,000 feet long and 400 feet wide. Engineers constructed it with an elongated oval design to accommodate the chariots and reduce accidents on turns. They included an advanced drainage system to handle sudden rainfall, ensuring races could continue regardless of weather. They even installed a spina, a central barrier running down the track's center, adorned with statues, monuments, and even obelisks, adding both visual grandeur and a challenge and obstacle for the charioteers. The spina kept the laps organized and gave spectators a clear view of each team's progress. The Circus Maximus was constructed in 6th century BC. Initially, the competitions were exclusive to the elite, and the plebeian people were not even allowed as spectators. It also played host to the Roman Games, officially known as the Ludi Romani. These games, held in honor of Jupiter, were financed by wealthy and royal patrons. Occurring every September, the Ludi Romani featured a 15-day schedule filled with chariot races, banquets, and military parades. In addition to chariot races, the Circus Maximus was also used for other sporting events, animal hunts, and gladiator fights. The wild beast hunt, venatio, involved large numbers of wild animals such as lions, tigers, bears, and even elephants, who were chased down by trained hunters or gladiators. At the end of the 1st century BCE, Julius Caesar rebuilt the stadium, adding more seating space. At its peak during the 1st century CE, the Circus Maximus could contain at least 150,000 spectators. As the major patron, the Roman emperor used the chariot races to solidify his position and bolster his popularity. A day at the Circus Maximus was an excellent opportunity for the emperor to interact with his subjects and to dispense gifts, ranging from money to free bread. With the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, the Circus Maximus fell into disuse. Over time, its materials were repurposed and its grandeur faded into memory. Today, the site serves as a public park in Rome, a quiet reminder of the arena that once echoed with the cheers of thousands. If you're fascinated by these stories and want to uncover more incredible secrets of the ancient world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Supporting the channel allows us to dive deeper into history's most intriguing marvels. Military engineering, forts, bridges, and siege engines. Roman engineering wasn't limited to urban areas. It extended to the battlefield. Romans were known for their advanced military engineering, constructing forts, temporary camps, and even full bridges during campaigns. Julius Caesar famously ordered his engineers construct a bridge over the Rhine River in just 10 days, allowing his army to cross the Germanic territories. The Romans also developed siege weapons like the ballista and onager, which could launch projectiles great distances, revolutionizing warfare. The ballista was one of the most powerful weapons in the Romans' military arsenal, and was definitely a force to be reckoned with. Simply put, ballista was a type of ancient missile weapon designed to launch large projectiles, such as stones and darts, at a distant target. More specifically, when these rudimentary springs were tightly wound and allowed to snap back, they were capable of launching missiles distances of up to 500 yards. Pretty neat, right? The Roman onager played a vital role in Roman sieges, allowing the Romans to attack enemy fortifications and disrupt enemy troops with great force and accuracy. It could launch projectiles weighing up to 275 pounds. Romans were also skilled at creating temporary structures, including pontoon bridges and field fortifications. When rivers obstructed their movement, they would construct floating bridges by using boats and pontoons tied together, allowing soldiers to cross safely and swiftly. This ability to adapt the terrain to their needs was crucial for rapid advances. Whenever the legions halted, they constructed fortified camps for protection. These camps were strategically laid out with defensive ditches, walls, and watchtowers, providing a secure base that could be dismantled and rebuilt whenever the army moved. Their mobile forts and complex battle engineering enabled them to control vast territories, solidifying their military dominance. Aqueducts, bringing water to the masses. In ancient Rome, water was more than just a necessity. It was a symbol of civilization, power, and prosperity. For a city as massive as Rome, with its burgeoning population of over 1 million people, access to clean and abundant water was vital. The solution? a network of aqueducts stretching over 260 miles at its peak. Ancient Rome's aqueduct system, an extraordinary feat of engineering, brought water to the city from as far as 50 miles away. The secret to their success? Arches. These reduced weights and material used while maintaining strength. The first Roman aqueduct, the Aqua Appia, was constructed in 312 BCE. This ambitious project marked the beginning of a transformative era in water management. The Aqua Appia stretched over 10 miles and delivered water primarily underground, protecting it from contamination and enemy sabotage. This innovative approach would be refined and expanded upon for centuries. The Pont du Gard in France, built in the 1st century CE, is one of the best preserved examples. Standing over 160 feet tall, it transported water across 30 miles to the city of Nemesis, now modern-day Nîmes. Once the water reached the city, it was distributed through a network of pipes to various endpoints. Central to this system were structures called castella, which acted as distribution tanks. From the tanks, water was funneled to public fountains, baths, and even wealthy households. Public fountains ensure that even the poorest citizens had access to clean water, a concept that highlighted Rome's commitment to public welfare. Bathhouses like the Bath of Caracalla consumed massive amounts of water daily, showcasing the luxury and scale of Roman water usage. The aqueducts made it all possible. Building and maintaining aqueducts was no small feat. Engineers had to overcome natural obstacles like mountains, rivers, and valleys. To cross mountains, Romans dug tunnels using techniques like counter-excavation, where teams worked from opposite ends to meet in the middle. After the fall of the Roman Empire, many aqueducts fell to disuse. With invasion and political turmoil, maintaining these complex systems became impossible. Amphitheatres, the Colosseum and beyond. No discussion of Roman engineering is complete without the Colosseum. Construction began during the reign of Emperor Vespasian in 72 CE and was completed during the reign of Emperor Titus in 80 CE. Two notable earthquakes, among other events, did significant damage to the structure, and much of the exterior facade and seats were repurposed in many of Rome's other buildings. Able to hold an estimated 80,000 spectators, it is the largest arena by a huge margin. Standing 157 feet tall with 80 entrances, the Colosseum was a masterpiece of Roman engineering. Its construction used travertine, tuff, and concrete, a combination that ensured both strength and flexibility. The Colosseum may be the most famous, but it was far from alone. Over 230 amphitheatres have been discovered across the Roman Empire, each reflecting the reach and influence of Roman culture. Take the amphitheatre of Pompeii, built in 70 BCE. As the oldest surviving Roman amphitheatre, it predates the Colosseum by over a century. Then there's the amphitheatre of El Djem, located in modern-day Tunisia. Built in the 3rd century CE, it could hold up to 35,000 spectators and rival the Colosseum in grandeur. The arena of Nîmes, another marvel, remains one of the best preserved amphitheatres in the world. It even hosts events to this day, blending ancient history with modern culture. The oval design ensured optimal visibility and acoustics, allowing every spectator a clear view of the action. What happened inside these arenas was as spectacular as the buildings themselves. The games, or Minera, often began with animal hunts known as venationes. Exotic beasts like lions, elephants, and tigers were pitted against skilled hunters or each other. Next came the gladiatorial combat, the highlight of the day. These were not just brutal fights, but carefully choreographed events. The amphitheatres weren't just places of entertainment, they were tools of political propaganda. Emperors used the games to showcase their power, generosity, and ability to provide for the people. The Roman amphitheatres are more than architectural masterpieces. They are windows into a culture that celebrated power, entertainment, and innovation. Harbours and lighthouses, guiding the empire's trade. The Roman Empire at its height stretched from the windswept shores of Britannia to the deserts of Egypt. Its vast network of trade routes formed the lifeblood of the empire, connecting millions of people across continents. Central to this network were the harbours and lighthouses of Rome. Roman engineers designed harbours with remarkable precision. They built protective breakwaters to shield vassals from turbulent waters, using materials like pozzolanic concrete that could set underwater. This innovation allowed them to construct harbours in previously inhospitable locations. Take Ostia, Rome's principal port at the mouth of Tiber River. It was a bustling hub where ships unloaded grain, olive oil, and wine. To prevent silting, the Romans constructed artificial basins and channels, ensuring smooth operations. Another marvel was Caesarea Maritima, a harbour built by Herod the Great in Judea. Caesarea became a thriving centre for trade, connecting the Mediterranean to the eastern provinces. Navigating the seas in ancient times was perilous, especially at night or during storms. Lighthouses were the guardians of sailors, guiding them safely to harbour. Several Roman lighthouses have stood the test of time. The Tower of Hercules, located in what is now Coruña, Spain, is the oldest lighthouse still in use today. Originally built in the 2nd century CE, it guided sailors safely along the treacherous Galician coast. Another notable example is the lighthouse at Dover in Britannia. Although only fragments remain, it once stood as a critical beacon for ships navigating the English Channel. Even in Egypt, where the legacy of the pharaohs of Alexandria loomed large, the Romans constructed lighthouses to aid in the bustling trade of the Nile Delta. The forgotten temple of the wine god's throne. Towering high amidst the Lebanese landscape, the Temple of the Bacchus is a masterpiece of ancient Roman architecture. The Temple of Bacchus is located in Baalbek, a city in modern-day Lebanon, known as Heliopolis in Roman times. This area was once a vital part of the Roman province of Syria, a crucial crossroads where Greek, Roman, and Eastern traditions merged. Baalbek was revered as a center for religious worship long before the Romans arrived, with its origins tracing back to the Phoenicians and even earlier civilizations. When the Romans took over, they transformed the site into a grand religious complex, dedicating temples to Jupiter, Venus, and Bacchus. Bacchus, the Roman god of wine, fertility, and agriculture, was often associated with celebration, feasting, and revelry. The construction of the temple dedicated to Bacchus highlights the importance of his cult in Roman society and the influence of Greek and Roman mythology in the region. The temple was probably commissioned by Roman Emperor Antoninus Pius, AD 138 to 161. No information was recorded about the site until a 4th century Greek conquest, by which point the temple was likely to have been closed due to the persecution of pagans in the late Roman Empire. Measuring approximately 216 feet in length and 115 feet in width, it stands 102 feet tall. Its sheer scale alone is impressive, rivaling the Parthenon in Athens. But what truly sets it apart is its intricate detailing. 24 massive Corinthian columns encircle the temple, each standing at an astounding 62 feet tall. Additionally, the use of locally sourced limestone and a well-organized labor force ensured the temple's completion in just a few decades, a remarkable achievement of its time. The temple was built using massive limestone blocks, some weighing as much as 800 tons. How these blocks were transported and precisely placed remains a topic of fascination. From roads to aqueducts to temples and amphitheaters, Roman engineering shaped the ancient world and continues to influence our modern one. These marvels remind us of a civilization that dared to dream big and execute with precision. The Romans didn't just build structures, they built a legacy that whispers through the ruins and echoes in modern engineering.